The sandcat, the fennec fox, and the Pharaoh eagle owl, three elusive Saharan predators hiding amongst desert rocks, brought together in the living desert's most unique expansion yet. Hello everyone, welcome back. For the first time in quite a while, we're actually stepping away from recreating a real zoo and building something that's completely original. Now, if you've been following the Living Desert series, you'll know that almost everything we've built so far has been based on the real Living Desert Zoo over in California. That's always been the goal of this project. But there have also been a few places where I've looked at the real zoo and thought, I'd wonder what I'd do differently. One place I always felt could be pushed a little further was the Sahara. So over the last 2 weeks I've been designing an entirely new area called Saharan Hidden Hunters, bringing together fennec foxes, sandcats and Pharaoh eagle owls into one immersive themed experience. Now, when I started this, I generally thought it would be a fairly straightforward project, but I think this area ended up being rebuilt 2, maybe even 3 different times before I was happy with it, which probably says everything you need to know about how this went. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to try to rebrand the channel into something a little more interesting. Rather than following the strict robotic script like we are used to, I just want to turn speed build videos into a more relaxed, natural style to hear my real thoughts about the whole design process. So let's get started. Over the past half year or so, I've been burning slowly through the African safari of the Living Desert Zoo. We've seen fairly nice progress with the rhino and giraffe savannas, warthogs and a few other things, but I'm not exactly the most impressed with it all. I'm not saying it's bad, we are probably looking at some of my most detailed builds in a coherent zoo, it's just, well, it's all recreations of yet another zoo. We know the story. Callum chooses a project, plans something grand, and burns out several months later. Looking back, the last build I did that required me to put on my creativity cap was a year ago with the red pandas of the Cold Waterfall Zoo 2. I loved the concept there, which took quite a bit of inspiration from Omaha's Asian Highlands area. The fact I stopped that zoo, even stopping the first Cold War Zoo, was one of my biggest mistakes. The Living Desert Zoo has been floating the idea of something I like to call a semi-recreation. The zoo layout and overall language has been recreated. Major YouTube-worthy enclosures and the like are being recreated as is. But this will not stop me from thinking that in some areas, and to a larger extent, for me, that I need to take on a creative approach to bring back the Cold War Falls energy without abandoning like what my 10th project. So what area may have kickstarted this idea off? That'll be this rotating carnivore aviary somewhere in the zoo that is kinda boring. Sure, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just kinda outdated in the kind of design that the Living Desert seems to be going for. We've got the fennec fox, sandcat and the black-footed cat all housed in this 100 metre square or something aviary, and never mind where they're actually held backstage. Then the idea moved on from how do I showcase at least 2 of these rather adorable and iconic animals into something that more I'd actually be excited to build. My last video, as appealing as the idea of housing pandas monkeys was, the video kinda bombed really badly. I knew both myself and you, the audience, were craving a little something more in the concept of a desert zoo tailored by my own thoughts. I thought, what if I could drop the fennec foxes beside the monkeys for the next episode? Wow, easy episode for sure. But a day later, a deeper thought came to me, like that light bulb above the head. Could I, in some form, create a truly exciting Sahara experience that transports you right to North Africa? So I hopped onto Google Earth, got working in search for inspiration. A lot of us may think that the Sahara Desert may just be endless sand, but when we find arid mountain ranges, desert valleys, oases, abandoned villages and all those kinds of things, it really is an interesting area to work with. And because I've already planned the existing attics and camel enclosures next door, everything suddenly clicked together for a much bigger North African experience. This is really exciting stuff because a lot of us may know that barren desert enclosures are ridiculously difficult to pull off, and may be eager to see how I can manage it. Well, we can guess the result of that quite easily. If any of us remember back to those Cold War fall videos, I greatly struggled translating my skills gained from recreations to creative builds. Sure, in theory it sounds easy, just use the same skills but well in a more creative manner. But I realised rather quickly that without any sort of reference to guide me, I lose almost all ability to stay on the same level. That was like 1 or 2 years ago, and yeah, I still fall into that trap today. This Hidden Hunters complex loved the idea of starting with fennec foxes, so away I go. I made this kind of rocky den aviary, inspired by the Rabat Zoo in Morocco, I think. So naturally I thought, I got this reference here. Perfect, a couple rocky dens, bumpy terrain, maybe some palms, done. And yeah, I didn't like it, not one bit. It wasn't terrible, but yet it didn't feel like the living desert zoo anymore. Let's compare it to that hidden barrier design at the giraffe savannah with those crocodiles, and is it really the same person who did this? The concept itself of a nice bright and colourful Moroccan village works great on paper, or one of those loosely themed Planet Zoo style zoos. That's a huge problem. The living desert zoo, with its focused realism and muted palette approach, does not mix with those fairy tale tropical kind of designs. That was attempt number 1. This carried on for attempt number 2, maybe even 3. I tried sticking to a Moroccan village plaza and trying to make this kind of trio of white plaster buildings work well. I really wanted it to work, but the plaza didn't want to work with me. You know the feeling. That's the truth. Honestly, saying out loud is a little weird, as it's something I never want to admit in a video, but that's exactly how it went. Eventually though, after rebuilding this area 3 times, this is where it finally ended up. Now, how did I get from that first attempt to this? I already knew some small animal references from building zoos like San Diego for nearly 2 years. I realised I accidentally learnt quite a lot about North American zoos and how they approach these smaller habitats. Some of you may know where you think this is heading, not just yet. Let's look at a dik-dik reference. Now, why on earth would dik-dik inspire a fennec fox build? It's clearer than what it seems like. Think about it, we have a small animal enclosure bordered by towering copy rocks, plenty natural plants, and potential for arid landscaping. Let's work with that. First off, the rocky copy. Now, I made a huge mistake here of not realising we have 2 desert-like rocks that aren't the red rocks. The obvious one being the desert rock, which has seen heavy use throughout the zoo so far. What I didn't know is that the savannah rock is literally the same thing but more washed out. I was complaining about the deep shade of the desert rock, and the answer was right in my face. It's like that time when I realised I went 3 years playing the game and not knowing that the TV screens could be recoloured. So, anyways, the savannah rocks, not the desert rocks, are used in collaboration with aquatic faux rocks. Now there's this life-saving blueprint on the workshop that is already colour-coded to the natural rocks, which saves me so much time trying to match them. Using these guys together makes for a brilliant low piece count rock wall, so you don't have to run into the tens of thousands of pieces trying to make a semi-realistic rock wall for whatever you're building. I also have a personal dislike for mud walls when I really don't need them, but well, that's a personal taste of mine. I do value my performance. Now, with the Denver Zoo inspired barriers, the moat, and all these copy walls, it is also time I remember who I'm building for. A quick Google search for habitats for the fennec fox shows some great key information. They prefer small sand dunes with sparse vegetation like desert grasses and shrubs. Pretty much things like drin grasses, those Australian crimson bushes, fallen wood, and all those sorts of things can really make this an ideal entrance to the Hidden Hunters. Going back quite a bit as well, that view and shelter that was from the version 1 of this build is staying. I love the concept of those Rabat Zoo inspired wooden verandas, because they break up that empty space between this fennec fox enclosure and the existing Patas Monkey Lodge. Let's leave the fennec foxes for now. After all, we got so much to cover this episode. The solution I came up with for the Hidden Hunters after the foxes was drawn inspiration from a long-loved project of mine, the San Diego Zoo. I've been trying to avoid making or drawing inspiration from San Diego as much as I can, but sadly my hand was forced. Yes, I regret not continuing the Africa Rocks Canyon where we left off with leopards and the Galeda baboons, I think. Trying to recreate it a bit too literally led me to basically rage quit the zoo. I warn you, never make that mesh canopy or it will be the end of you. At the Living Desert Zoo, however, life is much easier. After all, it's pretty flat. Drawn from San Diego, though, was not from Africa Rocks as one may assume, but rather the Children's Zoo. I loved recreating the Children's Zoo area with all those colours that popped through on those modern aviary designs. That's exactly the thing I was after. Those aviaries that house animals like fennec foxes, squirrel monkeys and coaties are almost the ideal dryland-inspired zoo aviary. They have always felt incredibly inviting, lots of planting, soft pathways, modern mesh structures. They're simple, but they just work. Even Caesar Crates took that route, and yes, I am using the workaround that Caesar came up with for the aviary structure, just in case any of us noticed that. The difference here though is that I'm taking loose inspiration from San Diego and not wanting the same kind of California brick building and double set of aviaries. It's a lovely example for it, but Hidden Hunters is really trying to show what I can do, worthy of showing everyone who supported the channel. I want two vastly different but at the same time similar aviaries that share the same architectural language. For the sandcats, I want a rectangular setup where guests will peer in through the front, while the Pharaoh eagle owls will get so much more space in a wavy, taller style aviary, allowing me to truly showcase each animal like they deserve. Now, what about everything around the aviaries? I have this nice open fennec fox enclosure, 2 empty aviaries, but something is missing. Yeah, that's right, it doesn't feel like North Africa. But remember what I said at the start of the video, that the whole idea was to make the Sahara a walkable North Africa experience? Let's fix that. There are about 3 major features I need to solve. First, I wanted to house a vivarium. More specifically, I want to house the desert horned viper as the 4th animal of the Hidden Hunters of the Sahara. The Living Desert barely cares for small animals around the African safari. I should really mention they absolutely do have great displays for small animals in their Australia Adventures aviary, but not Africa. Rather disappointing, but oh well. In my version though, no such limitation exists. The desert horned viper brings back some of the energy I loved back when I was building Henry Durley's Desert Dome. And there we saw quite a few integrated vivariums around the African and Australian dunes, which really made it a unique experience. With the viper's amazing ability to hide itself in the sand and their horned look, they're quite a useful educational part of the Hidden Hunters. You know, since hiding until a prey is right in front of them is literally one of their key adaptations. The thing is though, the Hidden Hunters is not going to prioritise a 4-metre exhibit box as a focal point. It really can't, because the element of discovery is ruined if I just drop it into Plaza. It needs to be buried, and there is a great way to do that. That brings us to architecture. And I know we love it when I add architecture with a reason. The key ingredient missing for a North Africa discovery is making it feel like the animals, and to a greater extent people, live here. The animals are living amongst desert ruins of a once great Saharan lifestyle that once dotted the desert, when the likes of the trans-Saharan caravan routes were a thing. Given how Morocco was heavily pushed aside and to a greater extent the general theme of the Africa DLC, I needed to put my inspiration elsewhere. The Africa DLC is essential to this style of building, but the focused themed pieces are really either Moroccan or Egyptian, something that is not at all what I'm after. So what's left, I wonder? One region that didn't look much into was the country of Algeria. Now, by chance, that also happens to be a major diversity hub for many iconic Saharan animals. The more I looked into Algeria, the more I realised I completely overlooked it. National parks such as Tazili and Niger, excusing my clear Arabic pronunciation, are full of these absolutely stunning landscapes with sandstone rock formations and dry river valleys, offering so much inspiration. Aside from the natural beauty of the Saharan interior, Algeria has plenty of examples of desert villages and forts, showing what hidden hunters could perhaps become. Maybe even hint at some future episodes. Now I make it clear that the Hidden Hunters uses an Algerian-inspired outpost tower with surrounding layers of a village rooftop. Dry branch coverings, colourful doors inspired by the Moroccan Berber paint colours, and the clever use of this to hide the aviary backstage. Also around the Hidden Hunters, I really want to expand the part of the zoo that's really missing around the African safari. No, not more animals, but gardens. The zoo itself is kind of half nature garden, half zoo. I wanted to make that statement true for the African safari, which lacks a true garden experience apart from the Madagascar garden that, well, doesn't have any Madagascar animals near it. This is challenging because this is a California zoo with kind of almost exclusively California plants. The Coachella Valley, where the zoo is situated, however, might be suited for a perfect blend of some kind of African Sahara garden experience. One thing I really love about the real living desert is that the planting almost feels like another exhibit. So let's think. The game has date and doom palms, tamarisks as the salt cedar bush, plenty of aloes and agaves also give smaller depth, and of course all the kinds of shrubs that can lie about their true location. That's all perfect. Temple blocks also will serve as a path barrier and fill in a lot of those empty spaces that are begging for some life, because the likes of a flat sandy plaza will absolutely kill the vibe of a desert experience. Okay, maybe getting a little long-winded on those ideas, I do apologise about that. But what about building? We've seen the fennec fox and architecture core of the video, so let's jump into these aviaries and see what they have to offer. The other adorable predator of the Sahara is none other than the sandcat. These guys are just begging for a cuddle. So these cats, I wanted the extreme opposite of what we saw with the fennec foxes. While the fox has got this nice open enclosure with sand dunes, I wanted to represent a kind of Sahara. I wanted to represent yet another kind of Saharan landscape. This is something that's called a wadi, which is basically a dry riverbed, kind of like the same kind of the American Southwest riverbeds that get those flash floods. The concept is simple. The right side of the aviary is home to a raised rocky shelf that acts as a riverbank that the sandcats will climb up to. The left side is then hard pressed against our central backstage stuff, and the narrow sightline through the riverbed right down the middle. This is not easy though. Rocks, sure, but absolutely not getting these cats to climb. Their hitboxes really don't like uneven rocks and those twilight rocks that make amazing mud walls. See what I mean? I really don't like using mud walls unless I really have to. I push through it though with climbable logs and natural rocks and pray to those hitbox gods that it works just once. Once I got there though, an original but risky idea of mine worked at last. The process is noteworthy, I guess, but well, that's Planet Zoo for you. The key to a good sandcat enclosure though is extreme restraint on plants. Sandcats are true desert cats who love open sand dunes and arid habitats. Grass is probably the last thing you'll find here in abundance, so I'm really glad I managed to power through this with only placing a few agaves and side plants to spruce up the enclosure. Last but not least, the owl was probably the easiest decision. This sits in the largest aviary, and I could picture a guest walking around a corner and seeing this huge owl. I knew it had to become the centerpiece. Now I need to address the elephant in the room. The Pharaoh eagle owl is not a common zoo animal, nor do we have an exact species mod for this. So I got the modded Iberian eagle owl, which kind of does the same thing more or less. It comes with this pale coat and a smaller size. There's a perfect owl for the Sahara. Because with mods comes great responsibility. Wait, no, I mean suffering. Owls can only perch on trees with these altered enrichment pieces. This is very annoying. You know, October cannot come any sooner. These custom-made dead trees work great, as I can test the exact height the owls perch at, and then I can just build for them. Most of those workshop pre-made trees are absolutely massive, higher than this aviary even, so they are borderline useless. With these trees, we kind of got a working indoor shelter for the owls inspired by this kind of Saharan granary style building, and behind it we got something that will really tie up this experience. One of the first references for Saharan architecture that I found was an ancient fort that is called a khazar. Their ruined desert orange stone walls and their rough edges give me something to block these backstage areas behind this aviary. A wavy style wall made of Indonesian bricks delivers just that, and with a little layering at the top, this broken rough stone can easily be achieved through little effort. So yeah, that was a huge amount of talk this episode compared to normal. I absolutely love how all this turned out, and not just this episode. It has transformed my entire vision for the zoo, not just through master planning, but on improving the zoo one step at a time. People who know me on my Discord are far too familiar with my attempts to master plan a project to extreme details to never deliver upon that. Saharan Hidden Hunters was unexpected and built on just a what-if thought. If previous zoos worked on that same approach, the channel would be in such a better place, but, well, a hard lesson indeed. The Sahara won't just end here. I've been slowly setting up the final stages of Hidden Hunters to expand deeper into the Sahara, because North Africa is rarely remembered as the place of the cats who hide in the sand. It's the land of wanderers. From camels to sheep upon the mountaintops, this is the newly reimagined Sahara of the Living Desert Zoo, where guests wander through gardens, discover the predators, and then naturally move into larger hoofstock spaces. So what do we all think of this? Is this new approach on the zoo much more appealing than previous episodes? Be sure to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching everyone, see you next time.